Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Quant Network and QNT. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. Now, with that being said, as we are seeing some green across the board in the altcoin market, we are watching a few of our alt holdings here. But at QNT, to me, it just doesn't seem, valid to actually really watch it. Like, I'm not going to be excited on QNT until we're, above the all-time highs yet again. But also, we have a little bit of ways to go before we even do flip bullish yet again. Now, some exciting things have been happening, especially now in March. Today, we did see the developer fees go live on the Overledger network. Of course, is this going to drive a massive amount of demand? Currently, not really. We are still seeing, the network kind of grow out within its, ecosystem, as well as like partnerships and things like that. We are still seeing the holders tab continuing on a nice upward trend. We've seen over 100 new holding addresses, come into the space. So, very, very exciting to say the least. We are also seeing the interoperability market cap kind of growing. I mean, it's up about like 3.51%. Obviously, you guys can see like the nice downward trend right here on this chart. But trading volume is up. We are seeing some movement on the 24-hour in the interoperability network, but a lot of these tokens are ones that don't have a lot of liquidity anyway, so these are going to move fast. But we did see Cosmos is up pretty good on the chart, as you guys do see in terms of the numbers here. QNT, number 3 on this board, but I believe that QNT will soon be number 1. And you could actually see the market cap difference between QNT and Cosmos. And the funny thing about this is that Cosmos is only serving, interoperability for blockchains, not even, the legacy network to, blockchain technology in general. So I thought that that was kind of interesting to say the least. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about a lot of things within interoperability, especially with the cross-border payment scene, CBDCs and things like that. We're seeing a lot of things unfold within this area. And we actually see here, March is one, if not the most important month for us as QNT holders. I don't expect massive pumps and that we are going back to the all-time high, but this month is very massive for the future price and implementation of our loved asset. QNT is a 5-digit asset. That's a fact. Now, we are seeing a few things happening within this month. I'm not expecting any sort of major price action as well. In fact, I'm not expecting a lot of price action at all. But we are seeing QNT continuing to grow and grow in demand as a token, but we are also seeing the network itself grow in demand. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about a few things, and that is, of course, QNT's price action. So, obviously, I don't need to tell you guys about where QNT would be if we had the market cap of Bitcoin. I do, though, want to talk to you guys about the possibility of having a $1.56 trillion market cap. We're actually going to be talking about why I believe that this is a possibility. Also, this would bring us to some nice, price targets for QNT. This would be a 6-digit asset at this point. And let's talk about why this is most likely going to be happening very, very soon, actually. I mean, a lot of people kind of downplay the idea on how fast things can move in this market. But you got to realize that, with a lot of money pouring in from institutional players, from enterprise players and things like that, we will soon see this market explode in value. Now, let's talk about why I believe that we could get to this market valuation. So, obviously, first we're going to talk with this, cross-border payments. Now, I've been addressing cross-border payments for a very long time, going back to XRP with Ripple. Now, we see how much this is actually worth as a market. This is worth $156 trillion in market valuation. Now, there's a lot of pain points within this market. I mean, first off, I've addressed the pain points with XRP and why XRP is really kind of disrupting this entire payment scene. But we know that a lot of the issues within cross-border payments is these areas down here. So these are the areas of disruption, B2C, B2B, and C2C. These are very, very high-value transactions. And honestly, on this side, these are the lower-value transactions, but I believe that we will grasp a large portion of all of these markets. And the reason why is because we're seeing a lot of pain points in the idea of, fast, cheap, transparent, things like that, even failure rates, like we've discussed that as well. And we know that there's a lot of things happening within this area that is focused on interoperability as well. I don't know if this website, so we actually do see. So actually up here, we see, but in recent years, we've seen new back-end networks emerge to optimize cross-border payments and enable interoperability between payment methods and provide senders with more possibilities to reach the receiver. Followed by, of course, down here, by establishing partner networks via direct connections with local banks and APMs in both liquid and illiquid markets. Back-end networks enable interoperability within cross-border payments. Now, interoperability is huge. I think that when we're talking about a frictionless payment infrastructure for the future, especially with cross-border payments, interoperability will definitely be a key aspect. Now, we are seeing a lot of focus being shifted to the cross-border payment market, even from Quant side. So we actually see our event brief, global markets and the coming revolution in cross-border settlement. In the Digital Pound Foundation's recent webinar on central bank digital currency settlement across borders, Gilbert Verdian explained the need for interoperability and standardization. And again, interoperability is definitely a key aspect for even, cross-border payments. Like cross-border payments could essentially be disrupted by CBDCs, which again will need that interconnectivity layer between the legacy platform and of course the future platform. And I know I say this a lot, but I just want you guys to understand that there's only one player that could actually do that, and that is Quant. Now, they are mentioning a few things. We're seeing Project Euro being mentioned here, which we do know, big key player. But this is what we see here. Interoperability between DLTs and beyond. While Project Euro was successful, there needs to be even broader interoperability. Our CEO and founder, Gilbert Verdian, weighed in. At the start, we need to consider how to integrate our existing financial systems with DLT and blockchain-type payment systems to support the evolution of money. There's an enormous opportunity to transform the financial sector, create standards, and work together. The right way to do this is to bring together our collective expertise in governance, legal, cybersecurity, and technology to develop usable standards that work for the technology we are building. Okay, now, don't disregard the idea that, first off, they are focused on CBDCs, and they're focused on these many areas around the world that are focused on CBDCs as well, meaning more so cross-border payments. Like, CBDCs will be a frictionless future payment infrastructure. This will allow for cross-border payments to flow very easily, have those incredible efficiencies that Ripple's focused on. And we even see, the Digital Pound Foundation's webinar was led by its policy lead, and you guys can see all of these individuals named down here. We do see Ripple being a named player, RTGS, and things like that. And the reason why I bring that up is because we know Ripple is absolutely disrupting the cross-border payment scene right now currently. But again, for a lot of this stuff to go fully live, we still need one major thing, and even the IMF is seeing this as well. This is the IMF provides update on central bank digital currency trends, insights, and policy lessons. And again, interoperability is huge. This is cross-border payments. So here is cross-border payments. The main hurdles to cross-border payments identified by the 6 countries surveyed relate to technical interoperability. Coordinating technology and messaging standards could be costly and complex, and legal/regulatory harmonization related to data privacy, tax and payment laws, and capital flow management measures. So again, interoperability is a main focus point here, and they are even mentioned in DLTs and things like that. I want you to realize that at the end of the day, we're even seeing many areas around the world focused on interoperability as a whole, especially within CBDCs and, of course, the future financial market. We're even seeing, a lot of players being mentioned here that are possibly working with Q&T or Quant. And again, here's the results. It also revealed the importance of increasing interoperability with its banking system to facilitate the conversion of user bank deposits to its CBDC. Focus on the big picture here. Although we are seeing many projects focused on speed, efficiencies, and things like that, there is only one project, and I'm not talking about Cosmos, I'm not talking about Chainlink, I'm not talking about any other project in this space that has built a 100% solid, solidified, and proven solution for blockchain interoperability to be interconnected with legacy platforms. That is Quant. So while we are focused on big money, markets like cross-border payments, we see the idea on how much market share could these assets really grasp. I've always said that with XRP's overall foot in the door, XRP will most likely grasp 10% of that market share value. Now, XRP as a settlement token, it could hit some major high figures, but if we do hit 10% market share of that, market, which, by the way, I know that this sounds absolutely crazy to a lot of individuals out there, but you got to realize that 10% market share of the cross-border payment scene is really not unlikely for XRP as a token, because Ripple has already positioned themselves fairly well around the world in the cross-border payment market. They did hit 300 plus financial institutions and partnerships in general in the cross-border payment area. That was going back to like 2019, so I'm sure that they have grown massively since then. Now, of course, how much could we grasp from XRP side? 10% is like a bare minimum, to my opinion, at least, because the efficiencies are there. And of course, they've been working on this technology for over a decade now. So I think that this is pretty much solidified in the idea that XRP will be a main player in the cross-border payment scene, and 10% market share value is really not that much at all. But again, what about QNT? Because, I think 1% market share is at least bare minimum. I mean, I'm just saying, if we do grasp 10% of that market share for QNT as well, because it will be the interoperability layer between that money flow, we're looking at like 1.2 million per QNT, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, will this happen overnight? Absolutely not. Will this have to be a very, very long-term play? 100%. Like, I'm not even, thinking about XRP taken in to accountability 10% of that market share value anytime soon. But who knows? I mean, this is crypto. This is technology. Things could move rapidly, especially once fully adopted in. Now, like I said, 1%, in my opinion, is fairly fair. Even at $1 trillion, you got to realize, like, $1 trillion is bare minimum. Like, I honestly think that as we march forward on into like a utility-driven market, that $1 trillion, per these assets is, again, fairly reasonable. I think it's very reasonable, actually, at the end of the day. When you are looking at this technology, there's really nothing like it. These are assets that are grasping large portions of the pot, by the way, as well. Like, there is nothing like QNT. Similar. I almost sound like Michael Saylor when I said that. Like, when he said like about Bitcoin, there is no other Bitcoin. Yeah, well, guess what? There's a ton of other options similar to Bitcoin out there. It's just the fact that they have not been adopted the way that Bitcoin has. We're also still in a very driven Bitcoin market. But to me, there's nothing like QNT out there. QNT has already solved the complex problems within the legacy and blockchain area, especially around interoperability as a whole. And think about it like this, right? When you are talking about QNT and the technology behind QNT, what is the end game for them? They don't really have one besides interconnecting every single legacy network to, of course, the future broader crypto network. So I'm actually excited to watch a lot of this happen. I'm very excited to see what happens within the future as well with CBDCs and things like that, because although we thought that it was going to take years and years, like we weren't even prepared to see CBDCs being really launching or anything like that until like around 2025, especially like after like ISO 222 goes live. But we've been seeing CBDCs being urgently adopted in and launching. So with this, we don't know how fast this could actually happen, but definitely when we're talking about the cross-border payment market, I think that this global market should be something that everyone is eyeing, not only from an XRP standard, but also as a QNT standard, because as we are seeing these DLTs being adopted in, there seems to be one clear picture, and that is interoperability is 100% a necessity within these markets. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.